He wasn't the kind of man who got scared easy. Old school trucker, big, loud, always had a story and a cigarette. You could take him through the worst parts of South Texas in the middle of the night and he wouldn't flinch. But this one story, this one night, messed him up bad. Even when he told it years later, his voice got low and he kept glancing around like something might be listening. It happened sometime in the late 90s. Early morning, still dark. He'd just left home in Central Texas, heading to Laredo to grab a load. Said he was well rested, sober, clear-headed, nothing weird in his system. Just him, his truck, and miles of empty road. He was deep in the middle of nowhere on one of those narrow, twisting two-lane roads. No towns for miles. No lights but the ones on his rig. Then he saw something in the edge of his high beams, right on the shoulder. At first, he figured it was just roadkill. Maybe a deer. Happens all the time out there. But as he got closer, he saw it wasn't just a deer. Something was crouched over the body. He thought maybe it was a hunter trying to cut the antlers off, or maybe some sick bastard doing something worse. Then he got closer, and everything in him just went cold. It wasn't a man. It was chewing. Whatever it was, it had its hands buried in the deer's gut, pulling out chunks of meat and stuffing them into its mouth. He hit the brakes just a little, more out of shock than anything. That's when it looked up. Not at the truck. At him. Right through the windshield, like it knew where the driver was sitting. And then it stood up. He told me it was tall, like really tall. The kind of big that just doesn't make sense. It was covered in brown hair, shoulders way too wide, arms too long. He said it had this look in its eyes. Not wild, not animal. Smart, aware. That's what scared him the most. It knew. He didn't stop, didn't think. He just floored it. As he passed by, the thing never looked away. It kept staring, head and eyes tracking him like a person would. He said the top of its head was still visible over the hood of his truck, and he was driving a needle-nose Pete. That hood is long and tall. If something's looking over it, standing on the ground, that's not a bear, that's not anything normal. He never forgot that face, or those eyes. He didn't tell anyone for years, didn't want to sound crazy. But every time he passed through that part of Texas, he kept the doors locked, lights on, and never pulled over, not even to piss. And he never saw roadkill the same again. One night around 2 a.m., he was working the front desk at an old hotel. Same routine, same quiet halls, just him and the security cams. Then the phone rang. It said the call was coming from the pool room. That stopped him cold. The pool was closed, had been for hours. Still, he picked up. Heavy breathing, that's it. No voice. Just long, slow breathing on the other end. He hung up, a little spooked, and checked the security cameras. The pool room lights were on, so he grabbed his keys and went to check it out. The hallway was dead quiet. As he got closer to the pool door, he noticed it was cold. Too cold. He could see his breath hanging in the air. The glass door was fogged up like someone had been in there for hours. But the lights, all off now. He opened the door. The motion light above him clicked on. The pool room was dead silent. Not a sound. No water moving, just stillness. Then a light turned on across the pool. Nobody was there. Then, one by one, more lights came on in a line, like someone walking the edge of the pool, slowly getting closer. He didn't wait. He bolted, locked himself in the manager's office, and didn't leave till sunrise. Next day, he tells the manager what happened. He laughs about it, says maybe it was bugs setting off the motion lights. But then he mentions the phone call, and the manager's face drops. You said the call came from the pool room? Yeah. You sure? Positive. The manager just shook his head. There hasn't been a phone in that room for 30 years. He didn't believe in ghosts. Not until that night. And no matter how many times he's tried to explain it since, he can't. Because there was no phone. But someone or something still called. One fall in Providence, she moved into a college dorm. Shared room, basic setup. Two beds on opposite ends, desks at the foot, cramped but livable. Her boyfriend spent a lot of time there. Some nights he stayed over, nothing unusual. One afternoon he was lying on her bed. She was standing near it, bent over to pick something up. Nothing strange, until he suddenly screamed, like full-on panic. Grabbed his eyes, started breathing heavy, wouldn't speak. She thought he hurt himself. Kept asking what happened. He finally said, real quiet, that when she bent down, he saw someone standing behind her. A dark shadow. Thing is, the shadow looked exactly like him. Same height, same build, same hair. He had a huge afro at the time. He said it felt like seeing himself from across the room, but not right. He couldn't explain it, and honestly, neither could she. They didn't talk about it again. Didn't even tell her roommate, who wasn't around that day. A couple weeks pass. Nothing happens. Life goes on. Then one night, she wakes up suddenly. It's late, room's dark, quiet. She sees her roommate moving around, grabbing stuff, clearly freaked out. She's stuffing things into a bag in a panic, not saying a word, then hurries out the door. She didn't say anything at the time, just watched. It was weird, but it was late. Maybe something personal. The next morning, she asked her what happened. Her roommate just looked at her and said, I woke up last night and saw your boyfriend sitting at your desk. I asked him what he was doing. Then she paused. He didn't answer, and then I looked at your bed, and he was there, asleep next to you. She left right after that, wouldn't talk about it again. That's when it hit her. The figure her boyfriend saw weeks before, the one that looked just like him, standing behind her. Her roommate had seen the exact same thing, only this time it moved. Eight years ago, they took a trip, him, his parents, and his cousin. A last-minute vacation near the pyramids in Palenque. Quiet place, no phone service, just jungle air, thick heat, and that weird silence that creeps in when you're far from anything. His sister didn't come. She had just started her first job, stayed back home. He missed her a little, but they weren't as close anymore. They grew apart over the years, like most siblings do. Still loved each other, though. When they were kids, they used to share a room for almost a decade, had their own tap code for talking when the lights were off. 2 knocks meant, you awake? 3 meant, our mom and dad asleep? And when she really wanted to wake him up, she had this habit. She'd get up, lean in real close, and just stare at him till he opened his eyes. He'd scream, every time. And she'd just laugh like it was the funniest thing ever. It happened so often it stopped being scary. Became just another thing she did. He even did it back a few times. But that was years ago. Now it's their last night on the trip. 2 beds in one room, parents in one, him and his cousin in the other. It's around 4 a.m. when it happens. He wakes up with that same old feeling, like someone's watching him. He opens his eyes and there's a face right in front of his. No words, no sound, just stillness, close enough to feel it. That old familiar fear punches him in the chest, but not the bad kind, just that weird jolt of, oh, it's her again. So he yells. His mom bolts upright, flicks on the light, asking what happened. He's still half out of it, heart pounding. He tells her he thought it was his sister. He knew it didn't make sense. She was back home, hours away, but he felt it. He didn't even see her clearly, just a face, that close. Then nothing, just gone. His mom didn't sleep the rest of the night, said something felt wrong. That kind of wrong you don't explain, you just know. Next morning, phones started buzzing. Missed calls, dozens. No signal last night, but everything came through now. His sister had been in a bad car wreck. Middle of the night, around the same time he woke up. Crushed metal, busted glass. Somehow she walked away with just a few cuts and bruises. He didn't say much. Nobody really did, but he keeps thinking about that night. The stare, the silence, that feeling. He knew that feeling. He'd known it since he was a kid. He used to stay up late every night in high school, glued to his screen, gaming till his eyes burned. Everyone else was asleep by then, the whole house dead quiet. Only sound was the hum of electronics and the occasional shifting of his dog, a big old gentle giant that always crashed on the rug next to his desk. But this night was different. It was around 2 a.m. when he finally shut the game off. He stretched, yawned, turned around, and the dog was gone. Which was weird. That dog never left his side at night. He stepped out of his room, called for him. No answer. So he started walking through the dark house, past the living room toward the kitchen and dining area. The whole place was pitch black except for the faint moonlight slipping through the curtains. There was only one way in and out of that side of the house, and he was standing right in the doorway. He called out again. This time he saw something. The dog. It came out from behind the kitchen island, calm, like nothing was wrong. Walked past the stool where they kept all the junk mail, knocked it down without even looking, then moved behind the dining table and out of sight. He sighed, annoyed. "Really?" he muttered, stepping forward to flip the light on. No dog. He froze. The light was bright now, the room fully lit, and it was empty, not even a paw print, just the junk mail scattered on the floor. His stomach turned. He backed out slowly, heart pounding, then bolted across the house. His feet slammed the floor with every step. When he got to his parents' room and pushed the door open, there was the dog, lying at the foot of their bed, fast asleep like he'd been there the whole time. He didn't sleep much that night. Next morning, he told the whole thing at breakfast. His parents looked at him like he was joking, but his little sister, she just nodded. "Oh," she said, like it was nothing. "That's the tall black thing. It lives here. Sometimes it crawls on all fours." That house never felt quiet again. It was 1998 when they moved into that old clapboard house, sitting right at the edge of a quiet Texas town. The backyard was big, fenced in tight, wood on one side, chain link around the rest. From the back, there was nothing but a small alley and more yards. The place looked calm enough, but something about it always felt off. The boys' bedroom used to be a sunroom. It had those big floor-to-ceiling windows, the kind that let in too much night. One wall of glass stared straight out into the backyard. No curtains, just glass. His bed was right up against those windows. His brother's bed sat across the room, foot facing the yard. Not much room to switch things around. One night, they were still up late, just talking about random stuff. The kind of pointless talk you do when you're too tired to sleep. Then his brother got real quiet. At first, he thought he passed out, but then he heard this shaky whisper. He asked, "What?" No answer, just another whisper. "Speak up," he said. Then his brother said it clear, low and forced, "Don't move and be quiet." That's when he knew something was wrong. He turned around fast, and right there, just inches behind the glass, was this massive dog's head. Not a regular dog, bigger, wider, almost eye level with him, its eyes locked onto his. He screamed, loud, raw, terrified. The thing ducked down, fast, out of sight. Then they saw it run along the fence and leap clean over it into the dark. Their parents came running in. Both boys were a mess. Their dad grabbed the shotgun and ran out into the yard. He didn't find anything, just a lot of nothing. And of course, he said it was a dream, brushed it off like most parents do. Brother kept quiet, and the blame fell on the younger one. Just another nightmare. Later that night, still scared and begging to sleep in the living room, he was told to go back to bed. So they huddled together in the same bed, both of them still staring at those damn windows. The room was quiet, outside, pitch black. Then it came back. They saw it walking along the fence on all fours, but the fence only came up to its shoulders. This thing was huge, too huge. It walked slow, like it wasn't in a rush, like it already knew where it was going. Then it stopped, sniffed the ground, or pretended to. It circled, then hopped the fence like it was nothing, walked straight to the window again, and stood there, nose to glass. That was it. His brother whispered, "Nope, fuck this." And as soon as his foot touched the floor, they heard it. A loud bang, a flash of light. The thing jerked sideways, but didn't fall. It turned its head and bolted. In a blink, it jumped the fence, cleared the alley, and landed in the neighbor's yard. Gone. Their dad came tearing around the side of the house with the shotgun in his hands. Slams the door shut, yelling that they need to go. Now. They packed a bag and left for a motel that night. The next morning, Mom still wouldn't believe it. Said it was stress, said they imagined it. Dad didn't argue, but he refused to sleep in that house again. They moved out 6 months later. He said it wasn't just the size of the thing that scared him, it was how wrong it looked. Like, it was trying to act like a dog, but the body was shaped all weird. It crouched like a man, stood like a man, but had a dog's face. And when it looked like it was sniffing the ground, it wasn't. Its head was tilted low, but its eyes were looking right at their window, like it was pretending, like it wanted to be seen. Dad swore he hit it square in the ribs from 15 feet out. A 12-gauge slug, and it didn't even bleed, it just ran. And the look in its eyes, he said it wasn't animal, it wasn't human either. It was something else, something watching, waiting. And whatever it was, it knew they were watching back. Her grandfather wasn't just a bad man, he was mean. Drank all the time, beat people, put his hands around his wife's neck once, right in front of their kids. Just about killed her. Then one day, he walked out, left her with 6 children, all under the age of 12. No warning, no help, just gone. Over the years, a few of his kids stayed in touch, mostly out of guilt or curiosity. He lived about 40 minutes away from the house he'd once torn apart, never remarried, got old and sick, ended up in a hospital bed in his 80s. That's where he died in the middle of the night alone. That morning, his oldest daughter drove to the morgue to do the paperwork and see the body. On the way, she stopped at her mother's house, her real parent, the one who never left. Just wanted to let her know in person. But before she could say a word, her mom looked up from her jigsaw puzzle and said, "Oh, it's a sad day. He died just past midnight, I imagine." It was weird. Her mom was old. Yeah, forgetful sometimes. Said strange things now and then. So the daughter figured one of her siblings must have already called and told her. She didn't think much more of it until she got to the morgue. She was filling out papers, just going through the motions, and then she looked at the death certificate. Time of death, 12:10 a.m. Her stomach dropped. On the way back, she stopped at her mother's again. Asked her straight up, "Who told you he died? Who called you?" Her mother didn't blink. "No one called. He came to see me." She said it like it was nothing. Said he was sorry. Sat right there on the couch and told me he was sorry for everything. What he did to me, to you kids. He cried a little. I think he needed to say it before he could go. The daughter just stood there, frozen. Her mother went back to her puzzle, humming some old tune like the whole thing was normal. But her hands were shaking.